Hello, Forester fans. My name's Lily Evans, and today I will be interviewing Coach Cat about the big win against Monmouth. So going into this game, was it a game that you were predicting to be difficult?
Yeah, there's no easy games in the conference, and Monmouth is actually one of the toughest teams. They were undefeated in conference play, and, one of the things, they've been the class of the conference for a long time in terms of winning games and winning those big ones. And, last year we knocked them off. I think it was the first time they'd lost in conference play for over 40 games. And to come into this week's game, we knew it was going to be really hard hitting, really physical, and it was just that. And we came out on the top end of it, so it was a great win for our guys.
You were down 5 points at the half. What was your discussion with the boys at this point?
Yeah, I think though we were down in points, we'd made a play right before halftime. Down on the 2-yard line to get a stop and actually forced a takeaway to get the ball back. And so I think that our guys were coming in the right emotional state, and we knew we were getting the ball to start the second half. So our confidence was at a good spot. I think when we came in at halftime, one of the things that was very apparent to us is that our players believed in the game plan that we had, and they want us to stick to certain things. And so we did that. Coming out in the second half, we did that quite a bit, and that paid big dividends for us to take the lead on that first drive. And our guys continued to play hard. Our defense did a really nice job in the second half. But offensively, we moved the ball and got some key first downs. And, I think there was some really good momentum coming out of halftime because of that play right before the half.
Your defense didn't give up a single point in the second half. What adjustments did you make to accomplish this?
Yeah, there were a couple of things that were really impactful to that. One, our defense was playing lights out. They were getting 3 and outs and getting off the field, forcing punting situations. The second thing was our offense stayed on the field. So in the first half, Monmouth won time possession by like 6 or 7 minutes. But in the second half, we ended up winning the entire game time of possession by over 8 minutes. And so I think that by doing that in the second half, making up that time, we literally had the ball for a quarter more than they did in the second half. And so when your offense is on the field, it's hard for them to score. But our defense was playing really aggressive and really physical. Made some timely plays, a big interception in the fourth quarter by Nick Reek. But I think what they were doing really well is they were making Monmouth earn first downs. And because they were doing that, they were able to make them, kind of into some forced errors that I think really benefited us. So I think those two things combined.
Are there any players that you really think stood out this game?
Yeah, Damon Bonds, who was named the National Player of the Week by D3Football.com. He had 21 carries for 136 yards. Coming into the game, Monmouth was only allowing 74 yards rushing. And so we were able to go over 200. So when you look at that, you really got to look at the entire offensive line, the tight ends, the running backs doing a great job. Alan Hansen was our leading receiver, but more importantly, he was probably one of the best blockers on the field most of the day as a tight end. And we asked a lot of him on Saturday, some pretty high collision blocking, and he was awesome at it. Defensively, Nick Reek made some great plays in the secondary as the overhang defender. Had a TFL, had an interception, put some pressure on the quarterback once or twice. And Darian Miller led the team with 12 tackles for the first time in his career. So that's a big day out of a defensive back. And our entire defensive line just, I can't say enough about how physical they were at the point of attack and how they made run plays bounce and do some really important things. And they may not show up in the statistics, but really had an impact on the game. So that entire group.
Your special teams had some big plays. Are there any units that you really think stood out?
Yeah, that 30-second window in the third quarter, we get a blocked punt for a safety, and then the very next play is a kick return for a touchdown by Damon. So those two units obviously had a huge impact on the game. But I think the team that probably was most understated in the game was our punt team. We had a great net punt advantage over them, great protection. Our guys getting the ball off. Logan Person had a great day punting. So I think that there was real strength in our whole special teams. But obviously, if you score points on those two return groups, that's pretty good, and we did that on both of those. So they had a big day. That blocked punt going into the kick return really changed the entire trajectory of the whole game. So it was something we were pretty excited about. It's something we thought we had a shot at early in the week when we saw how they were punt protecting, and sure enough, we got there.
All right, that's all I have for today. Thank you, Coach Cat.
Thanks for having me. See you next week.